doctor.
Like most 9-year-olds, Aniek was footloose, fancy-free, and loved playing outdoors. When tragedy struck during a family holiday, her mother had to face every parent's worst nightmare.
We were staying at my parents' little cabin in the mountains outside Claremont. And we'd basically just arrived, and we were making supper, and somehow there was a gas leak, and of course there was a candle that was standing close by, and it all happened very, very fast. All I could see was that her skin was like hanging off in shreds, but we really didn't know how bad it was until many hours later when we got to hospital. And they told me that Aniek had 85% burns on her skin. Additionally, she also had damage to her lungs, which basically put her up to 95% burns in total. I had no idea whether this was something that you could survive or not, because I knew nothing about burns before that. So it was only really when the doctor told me to phone my parents, who were living up in Pretoria, at 4 o'clock in the morning to tell them to come right away. That's when I realized that this was serious, because that's normally what they tell people when their child is going to die. And that's basically when I started to realize that this is something that they don't deal with every day.
Doctors credit her mother's strength as the only reason Aniek survived her trauma. After a lengthy hospital stay and rehabilitation program, she returned to school 9 months after the accident.
We were always worried about what would happen when she becomes a teenager, because when it happened, she was 9, and then in the back of your mind, you always have this worry, how would she deal with becoming a teenager? And none of our fears actually were realized. She's fully part of the social activities and what goes on at school. She is not shy. She goes shopping with her friends, and they go to movies and they hang out with their friends. So we're very blessed in that she has managed to just go from the one phase to the next without many problems. There's so many things that we learned in the process. I think you realize that you are stronger than you think. A lot of people say to me, oh, I could never deal with something like that. Well, I would also have not thought that I could deal with it, but if you put in that situation, you have to deal with it somehow. I think also what we learned is that you can't choose what happens to you in life, but you can choose your attitude. And you can choose whether you're going to be positive, or you can choose whether you want to be bitter, and it's not always easy. You don't have answers to the big questions of why this happened. There is no answer. But once this has happened, you can ask, what am I going to do with it? Now that it has happened, how am I going to use this in a positive way? In the 2 years that followed the accident, we had the little cabin rebuilt. And it was a little bit less than a year after the accident that we went back to Palmet. And Aniek was swimming in the river, and that was really just a wonderful full circle moment, that going back there and having positive experiences and making new memories at the place that we love so much was really something special for us all.
Hello, doctor.